grab your glass.
All right.
That looked at similar frames, and I don't forget one to.
Ready to start then?
Ready.
All right. It's 11 o'clock. Good morning. It's Monty Sokup. You've tuned into the Affordable Housing Advisory Board meeting for June 10th. We are going to quickly take roll, and then Leah will read the normal statement about the rules of engagement for the meeting for online and in person, and then we'll jump right into a public comment and our agenda. So I'm going to take roll, and we'll read, this is just off of the website, so we'll use this order when we vote too. So Karen Willie,
Present.
Chris Berger, Mark Bueller,
Here.
Stacy Schroeder,
Here.
Galal Abid. Galal's not here. Hai-Sung Han, Brenda Wall,
Here.
Sarah Waters. Somebody join us? Oh, Gabby, okay. Nicholas Ward,
Here.
Phil Englehart,
Here.
Christina Gentry, Thomas Howe,
Here.
Monty Sokup. 8. So we have 8.
Kind of.
I believe that's a quorum. That's quorum. So we have a quorum formed. So Leah, I'm going to turn it over to you to read the rules of engagement here. Thanks. There's probably a better term for that.
Sorry. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning, everyone. I have a few housekeeping items. I guess I don't need to look at the camera anymore for this hybrid meeting. Sorry, let me readjust. Okay, this meeting is being recorded and broadcast on the city's YouTube channel and cable channel 25. Please remember to mute yourself during the meeting when you are not speaking. The chat function for this public meeting is disabled. All chats will go directly to me. Unless you are participating during the meeting, please turn your video off. This allows the active meeting participants to be seen on the screen. You will still be able to hear the meeting. When you are participating, please turn your video on. If you have any trouble, you can send me a chat. The city reserves the right to mute people or to turn individual videos off to minimize distractions during the meeting. A few notes on public comment. When the chair calls for public comment, individuals attending in person should approach the podium to indicate they wish to speak. The podium can be raised and lowered, and we encourage you to use this feature to ensure your comments are heard. Individuals participating via Zoom should use the raise hand function to indicate that they wish to speak. Please leave your virtual hand raised until you are called on. Individuals will be called on in the order they appear on the meeting host screen. Please state your name before speaking. All comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Thank you, and now I'll turn the meeting back over to Mr. Sokup.
Thank you. Mr. Sokop's my father, by the way, just for the record. Okay, so with that, we'll open up for public comment. We have nobody in the room that wishes to comment. Anybody online? See a few people online. Nobody online. Okay, with that, we will close the public comment. And next, I would entertain a motion to adopt the minutes from the May 13th meeting.
I move that we adopt the minutes as written for May 13th.
Second.
We have a motion, a move, and a second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion or comment from the board? Seeing none, I will take the roll. Karen Willie,
Agree.
Mark,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Brenda,
Yes.
Nicholas,
Yes.
Philip,
Yep.
Thomas,
Yes.
Monty, yes. Motion passes 8-0, so the meeting notes are adopted. So we have 2 agenda items. The first is to review and consider approving the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Notice of Opportunity, the NOFO, and the application. As you recall, last month, we kind of went over that. Everybody had an opportunity to make comments. Leah took all those comments, if any. I don't know how many there were, but anyway, she took all those comments and assuming there was nothing too crazy about it. She adopted them. So I
Have a
think,
hand up if you care.
oh, okay, we have Sharon.
Do you want to take a public
Well, let's,
comment now?
in just a second, let's make sure, does anybody here have any comments? And then we'll take this and then we can comment again.
Great. I'm Nicholas Ward, Tennyson Homeowners. I read through it again last week and then again this morning, just to refresh. Again, really happy to see the 30-year minimum consideration in the NOFO, and feel like with the last presentation and the time we've had, that we've had adequate time to look at it, and to me it looks good for adoption. So if everybody else feels the same, I would say that we consider doing so today.
Is that a motion?
Before we take that, let's hear the public comment, but
Might have,
yeah, and then Karen?
this is pretty minor, but I know it kind of came up with one of the applications we had last time around, and it's the question 15 and 16, or 14, 15, 16, is the property zoned for proposed use? Do you have site control? Do you have deed in hand? And maybe just a box under there is like, is there anything about that you'd like to explain? Because some of them might say, like, yes, we have an absolutely willing person, they just want this to come through,
Right.
but we don't have deed in hand. So just, that was just one thought, if needs to be an opportunity for, if they want to explain.
For a comment.
Yes.
Any clarification or
Yeah,
whatever?
any clarification.
I think that's not an unreasonable add, I don't think. Anybody object to that? All right, let's add that, just some comment, that any clarification. Because you're right, somebody could have a right of first opportunity, a ROFO or a ROF for either one. Anybody else? With that, let's call on Sherilyn Wells.
I'm glad to see this special opportunity for people of color. As far as disparities of homelessness, I've done things for a long time here. If anything, I think it's gotten worse. The one thing I wish, and I have no idea if this is something you would be interested in sponsoring, is I wish there were a category to fund, and it wouldn't have to be a lot of money, to have people with lived experience actually have someone with lived experience engage with people, be able to give them gift cards, snacks and things like that when we were having meetings, and we'll be able to have regular meetings, because I know that there are a few people, but there are, maybe 400 homeless people here, I'm not sure. I was trying to get how many people are actually completely without shelter, which is not clear to me, somewhere between 150 to 200. And I would really like to see these folks, not just a few, but have many more people be given an opportunity to speak out. I volunteer downtown. I volunteered at various things and did paid things before. And they do speak to me about different things, barriers and how they feel about services. And I think I wish you would consider funding that. It wouldn't have to be lots of money, but certainly some. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah Lynn. All right, any other comments on the NOFO? Oh, we have Elizabeth Shirley now? Elizabeth, did you have want to make public comment on the NOFO?
Yeah, I don't know if I needed to make my comment, if it was kind of a larger view at the end of the meeting. I've never done this before, so, or if I should do it now.
Is it about the note?
Is it about the notice of funding opportunity? Or
Is this for
Just
2025 or 20? Is that what you guys are doing today?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
I said, is this about the notice is this for
Yes.
2025?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so can I make the comment after that then?
Yeah, we can open it up for a public comment at the end.
Thank you. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. There was an opportunity at the beginning of the meeting, and
I know.
maybe you weren't on. Okay.
No, I was on. I just got confused because I thought it said online that the comments would be at the end of the meeting, so I apologize.
I'm happy to hear what she has to say, or you.
I'd rather close the NOFO discussion, and then we'll have her comment. It just take a few minutes, I think. So I think Nicholas was about to put a motion on the floor to adopt. Is that correct?
Looking around.
With the
not
minor
seeing
change.
another Conversation, yeah. So I make a motion to adopt the NOFO currently as written with the adoption of the consideration made by Karen.
And the application.
And adoption of the application as well.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Sorry. Just want to make sure we had all that in there. So we have a motion, a second. Any discussion on the floor? Board? Okay, I will call the roll. Karen?
Approve.
Mark?
Approve.
Stacy?
Approve.
Brenda? Nicholas?
Approve?
Phil?
Approve.
Thomas?
Yes.
Monty? Yes. Motion passes 8-0. Okay, we have, would like to consider canceling the July and August meeting since we've adopted the NOFO. It'll be out there for 2 months. There's really no additional work, as far as I'm aware of, that this board needs to do until the NOFO applications come back.
Does that come with the recommendation of staff? The cancellation? In other words, did you generate that as a?
Yeah, this is Leah Roseland, Affordable Housing Minister. Yeah.
If you don't know, we meet every month and talk about the agenda and what goes on. So yeah, kind of a joint.
I thought maybe you were.
No.
It's gonna be stupid.
Yeah, so I guess to provide further context and information, when you look at the scope and role of the AHAB, really that is being even more specifically defined to making recommendations for the Affordable Housing Trust Fund awards. Between now, since the NOFO and application were just approved by the board, really between now and September and actually August when the applications are received, there really isn't business that the AHAB needs to do. At this point, as staff, we will get the NOFO out, start accepting applications, I'll meet with applicants. And then the AHAB, the next sort of business item for the AHAB related to the trust fund is training on how to score and review the applications, hearing the applicant presentations, and then the applications are due in September. So, yeah.
I guess
I hope that provides some context.
Is there any communication that we owe to the next board that's coming on to help with any kind of continuity? Or, I mean, all that will come through you, of course, but is there anything that is needed from us to help get that next board settled and ready to do the work?
This is Leah Roseland, Affordable Housing Administrator. I don't believe so. I mean,
There hasn't. Well, this
yeah.
Chair, there hasn't been a lot of communication yet about transition, even from the city. So I guess if we thought we needed to meet in August, if something comes out and we think we need to meet in August, we could potentially send out a notice and try to meet. I don't know. Haven't gotten a lot of anything.
And I don't know what that would look like. I don't
I don't
want to
either.
shirk any of our duties in the time we have remaining.
Yeah.
And in the past, the orientation for new members has been done by staff. Monty has joined as the chair. Hopefully, so I guess historically, the AHAB members have not necessarily had a role in transitioning or orienting new members anyway. With the board and committee transitions that the city's doing, one of the benefits that I see is that all new members will get the same orientation as to role of the boards, bylaws, rules for, conducting the meeting, all of that, and then I'll have a chance to meet with them all at once to bring them up to speed on the work that the AHAB has been doing and their specific role here, and hopefully we'll have at least some members continuing to provide that continuity. But in terms of a formal role of the AHAB, yeah,
it's my understanding we're supposed to be receiving an email, each of us, describing the transition and with an application. Have any of you gotten that?
I have not gotten
I haven't seen it. Okay. So I believe that is forthcoming, which will have an application basically saying if you'd like to apply, here's the application.
I have a question about that, which has to do with the criterion that is out there. I would probably apply for it, but I do not live within city limits. And so I have a concern that I would not be eligible, even though I work, all my, and so I have a concern about that, because I would in fact like to reapply, but I have a concern about whether or not that will disqualify me.
this is Leah Roseland. It will not disqualify you. There's a section that says basically an allowance for if you work full-time in Lawrence. Yeah. Sorry, I haven't had enough coffee. My words aren't being very clear today.
So, when we get the email, will it set out the criteria?
This is Leah Roseland. I have not seen the email. That'll come from the city clerk, but we are notified. And as a staff liaison, I was notified that there will be an email, that it will include the application to apply if you're interested, and I believe it will come with attachments to, like, the ordinance that has a specific criteria.
Do you know if they intend to have certain sectors or groups represented, or is it at large period, everything?
There will be 7 at-large members.
At large?
All city boards and committees will now have 7 at-large members. That's a part of the effort to bring uniformity across all boards and committees in the city.
Okay, so, let's say this is the board right here. When is our first opportunity to get together and look at applications and talk about stuff? Is that in limbo, or will that be September, the month of September, or what's fixed out there that we can work backwards to? Because I'm thinking about what we talked about last week, where we think this is going to be pretty untenable for us and the applicants and the whole crew.
The new board should be seated by August.
Well, I thought we died August 31.
Right, so I believe that the new board should be seated by August, and my understanding is that they'll receive training in August, and that the first AHAB meeting with the new board would be in September.
For application, although we haven't heard it yet, will be prior to August.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is, if you go on the AHAB website, there is a place for an application.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the new application, but
That's
there
the
is a
one we all
place.
applied for.
Right.
I'm wondering if anybody will even see that.
No, I know, but it's there. I mean,
Yeah.
I suppose you could make application now if you,
Okay.
I don't know if that application will change.
I'm not sure.
So
I thought there was
there's a lot of unknown here.
Okay.
Obviously.
I thought they were thinking about changing some of the questions on the application as well. Because some of them are silly.
I would be willing to make a motion on one, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Looks like Galal just joined the meeting.
Oh,
Hi, everyone. Sorry about that.
hey, Galal, we'll mark you as present.
Thank you.
You missed all the hot action of approving the trust fund application, and
I'd say the hot action was approving the minutes from last
the
week.
minutes, okay. Okay, so we were talking about canceling July and August. And Karen, are you interested in making a motion?
Sure. I move that we cancel the July and August 2024 meetings of the Affordable Housing Advisory Board.
So I have a motion on the floor.
I'll second.
And a second. Is there any discussion? Any additional discussion we kind of discussed? All right, I will take the roll, seeing none. Karen,
Approve.
Mark,
Yes.
Stacy,
Approve.
Galal,
Approve.
Brenda,
Yes.
Nicholas,
Yes.
Phil,
Yep.
Thomas,
Aye.
Monty, yes. Motion passes 9-0. All right, other new business, and if we're okay with this, I would like to open public comment on new business and let Elizabeth Shirley share her comments.
Hi, I'm sorry I'm not showing my face. I just think I'll concentrate a lot better if I'm not looking at myself right there. First off, I just want to say thank you guys for what you do. I think you're really helping the community out a lot. I came from Kansas City, Missouri in 2023, and I couldn't get any help. I'm disabled out there at all for anybody to even open a door, take a look, and came up here and I've gotten a lot of good help, a lot of good resources, and I just want to say I really appreciate it. It was very helpful. I know that everybody's sent a lot of homeless people here. I'm sorry for that. But I just wanted to make you guys aware of a couple of things, and this may not even be relevant, but so I live at Union at the Loop, which I know is a big property that was built, and I don't want to say it's a ghetto right now. It's not great. There's stuff isn't being taken care of. There's homeless people in and out of the buildings and that's not something I understand. I've called up the police and all that stuff, but it's just getting to where you feel unsafe and not want to live here. And there's a lot of money that I think you guys invested in this place, and there's just a lot more going on, and they don't have enough staff and stuff like that. And I don't even know if I'm even to go into all of that. But I just, I've talked to people at the city, I've talked to the front office. I just don't know who. I can't sit and call the police every day. I've got a life, so it just is. It's a shame, but that's the way it's kind of been. So, and I also wanted to say that I could be wrong, but it seems like a lot of the trust funds accounts are going to, well, I'll see something and it'll say disabled or veterans or seniors, and then they pop up like 4 or 5 of them are 55 and over, and they won't let anybody in. I'm 51, I'll be 52, and I'm not physically disabled, and I've tried to see about moving to one of those places, and they just will not budge on anything. And I've done a lot of research. I know what they can and can't do and stuff like that, and I understand what they're trying. But it seems like there's about 4 or 5 that are popping up, and I just wish there was something kind of in between. We had a choice where I'm at, and to be able to go be somewhere quiet and not have to deal with all of the stress of everything going around you. I don't even know if I have a reason to talk about this. I'm just trying to get it out to people so they know what's going on. So does that make sense to anybody? I'm sorry, I'm nervous.
Yeah, Elizabeth, thank you for those comments. We appreciate the feedback on those.
Okay.
I think that Thomas Howe, Lawrence Board of Realtors representative, I think that her comments bring up an issue which has to do with what happens after we make the grant. What's the follow-up with a case like this where there may be tenant complaints? I don't really think that that's our responsibility. However, if we have given a substantial funding to these projects, do we have a role in, I'm not exactly sure what the right phrase is. It's not enforcement of
Livability. Say livability.
Of livability, yeah, that's a good way to frame that.
Peaceful enjoyment.
Mr. Chairman, I assume among other things, is it a HUD project?
It is, it's a LIHTC project.
Okay, so So who's the boss of LIHTC? Is it the state? I'm trying to find an entity that
Right.
has
That has the-
authority
Yeah,
Right.
some
to
enforcement.
get to some of these kinds of things. I'm sure it's there.
The management group,
Yeah.
if this is correct, is the Annex group, which based out of Denver, Chicago, and Indianapolis.
It's the Kansas Housing Resources Corporation, and then they have to get annual inspections by HUD. If there are tenant,
HUD's in here somewhere.
yeah.
Okay.
If there are tenant complaints, I'm not sure if Elizabeth has contacted me specifically, but I have gotten contacted by residents of some of the projects that we've supported. And unless it's an issue of a code violation, the city doesn't have any authority to go in and dictate business practices but I'll provide referrals and
You pass those to HUD,
to the Kansas Housing Resources Corporation. Yeah,
pass it to
yeah.
And so might that be a place where we direct Elizabeth to is the Kansas Housing Resource Commission? I mean, that might be a place where she could take this, because my understanding of what she was saying was, I just want somebody to know this, and if somebody can address it, that it be addressed. So that entity would be the Kansas Housing Resource
That would be-
Corporation.
Yeah.
Corporation.
Corporation.
Yeah.
Certainly a place to start.
Do I need to raise my hand again to talk, or am I done? Or
Gotcha.
I was just going to say that I already talked to them too.
Okay. All right, thanks. Okay. Any other new business?
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
ask her how often and how long ago she did.
So,
You still,
Elizabeth, how long ago did you reach out to the Kansas Housing Resource Corporation?
I reached out a couple months ago, and they actually they actually paid for some security cameras
Oh.
out here and donated some money, and I don't even think that the front office has done anything about it. I know they're shorthanded. I thought about contacting the main company, the Annex, but I don't know where I would get, because I don't know where I would get with them. But yeah, I did contact you. I would have to look on my email to see the name of the lady I talked to. But she said basically they just stand between the tenants and make sure the problems get solved, but it's just not, happening, so.
Yeah, I would say, if the apartment complex isn't doing what they were funded to do, I would probably reach back out to the Kansas Housing Resource Commission to have them follow up. Because they'll be able to put the pressure on, you're not in a great position to put a pressure on the land manager.
Yes.
So you might reach back out to them, would be my only advice at this point,
yeah, mine too.
and stay with them.
Yeah.
Okay, any other new business? All right, then we're adjourned. Thank you for your service.
That was easy.
Thank you all.
All right, are we
30
off?
minutes.
End all.
Wow.
Record.